All right, guys, welcome back. We are sorry about the late start, but we obviously had some pretty epic stuff going on today with the Trovo Creator Showdown. I hope you guys were able to tune in and watch it either from the creators' perspectives or obviously Mod 6 and Verdict did a absolutely fantastic job casting that over on Verdict's channel. So make sure you guys go back and check that out if you didn't, especially NA. Dude, NA was absolutely nuts, Verdict.
No, I was. It went to a game 11. We don't see that too often, and to see a Tunisia map in play for Search and Destroy was certainly epic. But I think one of the things that we, kind of brought to light during that is I miss Meltdown Search and Destroy, and I don't know who's with me on that, and I don't know who I need to message to get it back in the mix, but I desperately crave Meltdown Search and Destroy.
Yep, And if you guys can't already tell, we of course have Jingo with us, a former pro in the North American COD mobile scene. And Jingo, right out of the gate, there was a question on Twitter that I think this is a great time to just go ahead and ask you. Um,
Okay.
when are you going to make a return to the pro scene? Specifically, Losty wants to know uh, if you're going to get a spot on Tribe.
Oh, okay. I can definitely answer one of those questions. I don't know, I don't know about the tripod. I don't even know if they're gonna still be around, in the scene. I'm pretty sure they are, but like definitely I'm gonna need like some time, to like get my skills back, Like I can't, come back and just, you know, pop off like that. But I'm coming back, I'd say when I'm once I like get a place, because right now like I'm just still focusing on school, from college, and I'm trying to, just get my shit together right now. So right
I
now
feel
it's
that.
not the time, yeah. So it's just like I'd say maybe summer, hopefully summer around there. Hopefully the scene is much more alive, and there are a lot of orgs in here besides like NYSL and Tribe, like some bigger names. But yeah, a couple months from now, I'd say.
Yeah, I would definitely expect probably some of the CDL teams start to reach out once we get like a competitive roadmap for the year. Um, Obviously, I think one of the things that people have complained the most about COD Mobile, and you guys will probably agree with me here, has been the transparency with what's going on in the competitive scene and what to expect. So, from a business aspect, I don't see any of like the major organizations really putting down uh, their commitment without knowing exactly what's in store. But it definitely could be a really big year for COD Mobile.
Yeah. Just I don't know. Hopefully, like I see some hints on Twitter, and I'm just trying to keep up with what CDO orgs are like hinting like an entrance to the game. And I heard, I don't know, I really haven't been paying attention, but like CoDM 2, I don't know so much about that. Like I don't
No,
know,
it's in the
maybe
works,
some
but I don't
CDO
know
orgs, yeah.
much. Yeah.
But right now the game is like I think it's trying to recover, like the scene kind of died out a little bit.
So
And
I think that you're hitting something like firmly on the head right there when you say that, and the reason why I bring it up is because you know there's new rules in Mobile Mayhem. I think you've seen a few games. I think you've seen a few broadcasts. What are your thoughts on the new rule set changes, and how do you think that affects a game that after champs, everyone obviously up in roster mania, there's a lot up in the air. There's not a lot of certainty, but it certainly shakes things up and makes things interesting on that end, right?
yeah, definitely. I think personally, I think change is good, right? So for a long time, we've been playing champs rules, right? It's been like I'd say like the past what 7, 8 months, we keep playing that rules, but then you change it. Once you change it, a lot of people get mad, like they don't like it at first because it's like something new, They're like, damn, my quick fix is gone, I can't run hardline anymore, I gotta get like 9 kills instead of 7 kills to get a pred or some shit like that. I don't even know how much it takes to get a pred, but yeah, you get the point. Um, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like people will get mad at first, but then over time they'll adjust and then they'll be like, oh, maybe this is better, And personally, I think quick fix should not be allowed in, competitive. I'm just like that's just
It's
stupid.
controversial, Jingo, and we'll absolutely allow it. So, good point.
Yeah.
1 point for Jingo, zero for Vertigan Day. Good job.
Well, I think one of the big thing, and that's something that we did hit on with Shift on the special episode that we had with Bobby and Shift, was that Quick Fix realistically should have been out of the competitive scene for a while now, in my opinion. So I am glad to see, even though there was some controversy around it, I am glad to see that taken out. I do think that adds to a little bit more of the competitive nature than, oh, I killed someone, I'm getting health regen, now I can immediately take another gunfight. So it does force players to be a little bit more strategic with their plays. They can't just rely on gun skill to quick fix their way through multiple gunfights. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Casting Trovo Showdown today, I was so thrown off when games ended at 150 and I saw quick fix in the mix. I felt like I was like cheating for a second. I was like, oh my god, why are we watching this guy who has quick fix? That's banned, and I completely forget that we're reverting back to the rule set. So I think the change of pace and the rule set, for one, even if the champs doesn't change, I think it's better for the scene just for the simple fact that if you can get good while not using those dependent perks or those dependent operators that you're used to using in uniformity, like your annihilators or your death machines or your sparrows, I think it's going to make for better gameplay down the road, and you're going to see a lot better plays from players who wouldn't have made it because they weren't relying on quick fix to get the kill, but then they realize they do have quick fix, and I think it could absolutely boost the overall competitiveness in the game long run. I'm not saying that adding quick fix back in or not is going to make or break a game, but if you could do it all without what you're dependent on now, who's to say you're not going to be 10 times better down the road?
Exactly. That in person, like in my opinion, like that's what makes, a good player. When you adapt to, the changes inside the game, you can switch over, you can change your play style depending on how the game is. The meta people, like for example, back then they were like the Holger, right? The
Yeah,
Holger during
yeah,
the Holger meta. Yeah, that was the most, I think the most controversial like meta
true.
ever. People were like, "Yo, this is like a competitive game. Why is there a 100 bullet LMG that kills you in like two, three bullets, right?" And people are like, "Oh, without the Holger, they wouldn't be this good." And we've seen from after the meta changes, some players got affected by it, and some players didn't. Right? You guys probably already know who. But
Throwing
yeah.
shade, that's 3 points in a row. I mean, he hit Holger on the head. He threw shade. I don't know what else. Jingo's just winning right now.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Yeah, it can be wrong, but that's what I've noticed from playing the game.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some interesting rule changes. We do have Creed in chat saying that quick fix ban is good, unique operators are nice. I definitely like the unique operators. Let me tell you, it was pretty boring watching, Annihilator Sparrow ban and then 10 people run Death Machine. So I think it adds a little bit of spice. It really promotes, hey, this person is really, really good with, this operator. And one of the things that Shift had mentioned is when they had that style of setup in the CDL, I think it was during Black Ops 3 or 4. It did add that extra level of strategy of keeping track of, okay, we know this person runs the Annihilator. Um, they just burned it. We got to start keeping track. Like your Annihilator user would be keeping track of how many kills the opposing Annihilator user would have, so that they could be prepared to counter that if at all necessary. So I think that's something that will develop a little bit more over time with this rule set. Um, but I think it adds an extra level of challenge that maybe some players weren't dealing with in the past. So I'm here for it. I think it's exciting. The other part of that comment is that 250 hardpoint and 200 dom is too much. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Verdict, I believe that is the score set that they run in the CDL, isn't it? Or
Oh,
did before Dom was taken out?
it absolutely is. Actually, it's 250 for hardpoint. It's been like that for a few years now. Domination was taken out. Obviously, Control was entered in Black Ops. I don't know what they ran prior to that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't keep up with CDL back in Modern Warfare 2019, but I've seen broadcasts from past, and the gameplay was a little slower than in 2019. But Black Ops and on, they've been at least 250 hardpoint and up.
Yeah, I think it's probably a big change for a lot of players in the sense that the games just last longer. Um, and Creed, you're right. It is pretty chaotic in 5v5, and that's a whole nother
Yeah,
thing to
that's a
go
whole
into.
another hour conversation
Yeah,
that we're not
yes,
having tonight.
exactly. Look, we totally get you, Creed. We're on board 4v4. I think most of us on the panel, we'll get Jingo's opinion on it briefly. I think 4v4 is a more competitive style. Would you agree, Jingo, or do you want to go into that at all?
Yeah, I
No,
would
say no,
like.
say no, say
Yeah,
no.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah, you're right, verdict. Okay, because okay, hear me out. 4v4, okay, look, it's good on console, right? That's the norm on console, right? For 2 years, it's been a 5v5 on COD Mobile. I'd say if you change that, it's gonna change dramatically how people play. Also, on top of that, it's gonna get rid of teams. It's gonna destroy teams. All right. You say 4v4, that's gonna mean a player out of that team is going to be gone, and it's gonna, it's gonna create some spice in the scene. And maybe maybe it will work, but like in my opinion, I think COD Mobile is more of a 5v5 game and fit for, yeah, like what Creed said, like 250 is too long. I feel like it should just stay 150. Zim would disagree with me because this guy is like a CDO nerd and he wants to, do everything that has small
Fired at
CDO.
Sim. That's four. 4 points for Brian Jingo. Absolutely uncanny right there.
Yeah, but I think, COD Mobile is like a mixture of a bunch of stuff because as you can see, they brought guns from like different, CODs, like it's not from the same game and there's different maps. Like it's just everywhere. It's just a big pile of shit, you know? And you gotta create your own rules for it. And I think that's what, the COD community should do. You shouldn't strictly stick to just CDL and copy it because,
True.
it's not what CODM is like, People like to, play a different way and it's just
Listen,
yeah.
I gotta respect that specific statement there. That you want COD M to be its own thing, not the CDL. And I absolutely dig that energy standing out because that has been one of like the big arguments of the COD M scene is a lot of the pros just come out and they're like, oh, well, we want to be like the CDL until something they don't like happens, which would reflect the CDL. Like, just come out and say, we want some of it without all of it. We want some similarities with the CDL, but we don't want to be the CDL. I feel like if more players said that, we would probably have a little bit easier of a time actually defining a rule set. Um, here's to hoping that in the future that may be a discussion to have. Um, and maybe it turns out that for COD Mobile 250 hardpoint is too long. Maybe that does need to be tuned down. Um, in my opinion, I feel like we would need to majorly overhaul the map pool available for hardpoint because there are some maps that just do not work on 150 hardpoint. I know that's firing range is one specifically that me and Verdict hit on a lot because that P1, P2, P3, 9 times out of 10, the game's just about over at that point on
Yeah,
150 hardpoint.
I watched a hardpoint on Hacking Yard earlier, and one team literally picked out 40 or 20 points off of P1 and kept spawns for P2. And we're already up to close to 100 points after starting off with the advantage of P3. Like like when you get to that point, you don't even see the game play out at some points. Like I gotta see a little bit more development. I need to see a little bit more. And if you could do it for 250, you could certainly do it for 150 too. So I mean, you can't look at it and say there's a bad downside to playing 250 hardpoint when in reality all you're doing is just either you're good enough to hold it for 250 or you're not. If you're good enough to do it for the 250, obviously you could be playing for that late game. But if you're not trying to get to that 150 marker first initially, that's a major L.
Yeah, like I feel like there's pros and cons to both rule sets. And regarding back to, like operator bans and, the time limit and all that, I feel like, the community has enough brain cells to, decide what's competitive and what's not. Like obviously five
Do they
kinetic.
though? Do
Yeah,
they?
I was about to
I
say,
mean,
saying the community
yeah,
has brain
okay, okay.
cells might be a little bit of a stretch.
I think Jingo might have lost a point there for that one. But go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening.
I think I should rephrase that. In the right hands. Like someone I feel like, five kinetics, like I don't know who came up with the rule set to have like everyone run the same operator, like you remember like I'd say like 5, 6 months ago, you saw five kinetics running around, right? Like
Hmm.
how boring is that to watch? But now you got like people running purifier, something that nobody would have ever touched, right? Even in rank. Like you've never seen a purifier, anywhere. But now people are starting to run purifier now because it's like, damn, I should try this out because they can only be one annihilator, there can only be one death machine, you know? Like so I feel like it adds more competitiveness into the game instead of running the same old bullshit over and over,
I
and nobody
agree.
likes
If
to
they
watch
don't
that.
change anything to the champs rule set, I think the unique operator would be the one thing that I would see carry over to champ style. And I don't know if the community's on that. That's just my opinion. If nothing is taken from what happened or what's happening right now, I hope that is the one thing that COD Mobile Champ sees, and then opens a floodgate for some change down the road. I think that one unique operator, if anything should stick, that should. So I think that's the biggest rule change for me, and I think that makes it a little more competitive and a little bit more creative too, because those breaks are very difficult when you only have one annihilator and one sparrow. And they've been burnt out already. How are you gonna pop into the point or hold it? Purifier got a recent buff, so not many people would know that if we weren't in this rule set.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't want to have my comment earlier as like targeting the competitive CODM players or anything like that. My statement on does the community have brain cells to make a competitive rule set is largely around the fact that you jump into a ranked game and a majority of players are, well, I'm
Oh,
gonna run
YouTube,
persistence so I can rock a.
YouTube, 40,000 votes on Bobby's YouTube channel said that they didn't. 75% of people said they didn't use persistence. You know what that tells me?
That
75%
tells
of the
me
community is
that
freaking lying, bro.
Bobby's viewer are lying.
Yo, 70. You're telling me 75% of people don't use persistence in dogs? Get
That's
I
get
would
cap.
get this
That's
I would
man,
cap.
sir.
say 90% of ranked seems to, and I haven't even been one to play a lot of ranked myself. This is the
But I
first
see so
season that
much
I'm gonna
comments
grind
on it
ranked.
on Twitter. It's not
The
even
comments
funny.
on Twitter, I pop into people's streams. I watch Papa Taco and Space and Tech and Bolu and Vic. I
Bobby,
watch
I'll
all
be right
those
back.
guys stream, and they're running their leaderboard grinds, and it's like that's all I see in their streams too. At the highest level of competition for pubs, you're still seeing nine, eight, nine people in a lobby run persistence, and usually still get crapped on, but you know, it's I wouldn't like that 90% of the community to vote on persistence being allowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just crazy. Nobody says they run persistence until the season resets. Then everyone's fighting for the number one spot, running swarms and shit. Yeah, but I feel like persistence should not even be a perk. Like that, it should not even be a thing in the game. Like it does not promote competitiveness. Like you're going 5-21, and all of a sudden you're dropping a VTOL. Like people get more kills from their streaks than their
Right.
actual gun skill. So it's pretty stupid.
I
And
go ahead.
yeah. Okay, yeah. But what Chris said, like shotguns and LMG bans should be like will be good in champs. I mean, I agree with that. Like a lot of people, they're like, we should keep shotguns. I don't know about LMGs, but like I've heard from like the people that have been around, they think shotguns is fine, but like in my opinion, I think it should also be banned along with LMGs and RPGs because all of that is just what was that word like? It's like noob tube, right? That's what the
Yeah.
word was, right? Yeah, like you're not really gonna. That's not really competitive. You're not running around with like what is that one perk on the shotgun that like makes you go like 10 times faster after you get a kill. Like it's just not fun to play against.
Yeah,
Right.
that.
And
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Verdict. No, go ahead. You just got back.
No. I'm catching the butt end of it. I need to hear the
Oh,
the full analysis.
listen. I was just gonna say, I think if you were gonna like really take one thing from console slash PC COD, that would be, I think your ranked rule set should be similar to how they handle league play
True.
on console, right? So you jump on your Xbox or PC or computer and play COD, and you jump into league play. That limits what you're allowed to use towards. It's not always perfectly in line with CDL rules, but it's
But it's
fairly
it's
close.
damn
It
near
takes
close. It's
it
nowhere
does.
like rank, right?
Right. It takes out a lot of the, if we're going to be honest here, bullshit. So, for
There
example, if
you
you
go.
queue into rank, you wouldn't be able to use a class that has persistence on it, or you wouldn't be able to use a class that has certain band operators on it, and I feel like that would liven the ranked scene a bit more.
But
Um,
that would just like, I mean, there would be like 70-90% of the users out of the
well,
rank. It
well,
wouldn't be
hear me out
competitive,
though.
would it?
Hear me out though. If you had those 90% of ranked users that are just, trying to farm wins off of persistence, right? If they were actually playing the competitive rule set and showing their actual skill, not
They would
a
stop playing
perk.
rank. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
Okay, a handful of them might, but how many more players that are actually good get discovered and start dabbling in the competitive scene at that point in time?
Good
How
point.
many of those players, that stick around and do play ranked and do keep up with some of those ranked players? Like Washi got into the scene based on playing ranked with, I believe, either Piano or Molly. I don't remember which one. Um, but like that's a big thing to me, right? Nobody jumps into ranked right now and they get destroyed by swarms in the air by persistence users and thinks, you know what? I wanna be on a professional team with this guy, right? But if you jumped into a CDI a
Yeah,
CDL
yeah.
style rule set where there was no
You're a
persistence,
competitive
y-
scene full of shitters, bro. What the
right,
hell?
right. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If all of those people were playing on the regular rule set and you jumped into a ranked game and you got dogged by the same guy 3 times in a row, you might be reaching out saying, "Hey, do you want to try out for, Storm, or do you want to try out for our team?" So I feel like that would maybe expand some of the talent that we see in the competitive scene, and maybe um, you get a little bit more of a balanced competitive end, because right now I think we're largely looking for NA specifically. We have 4 teams that are quite good in NA, right? You've got Explicit, you've got Seminole, you've got Yo Mama, and you've got
Goofy
Goofy
Goobers.
Goobers, right? So you've got 4 solid NA teams, and then you
What about
throw in
Storm?
11. We're getting there. Uh, you throw in 11T and Zygnus. Well, those are Latin American teams, right? You've
Yeah.
got a strong top 6. You do have upcoming teams like Storm, but you also have some teams that just aren't at that level of competition. Plain and simple, right? Like that's the reality. There's hope. There are teams that are doing better each week. I think Midnight Gaming is a good example of that. Um, but for example, Shred It and Revenge, I think could definitely benefit from having a little bit stronger talent on their roster. Is
Yeah,
that fair?
and yeah, I agree with what you say. Like, I think there should be, how would I say it? It should be like a league play or something besides rank, Rank, there's too many, there's no restrictions. You can run thermites, persistence, anything, but there should be a mode where not pros, but like we follow a certain rule set that is competitive, and people play against each other and they're just like, this guy is actually good. You're not getting like 30 kills with like an advanced UAV in the air and running persistence. So I feel like that would also help out, the community, but knowing COD Mobile, I don't think they're gonna do something like that anytime
Yeah,
soon.
and we could always tell when people don't, accept change immediately. Like, how hard is it to find a payout search and D or S&D match? Like, I don't think I've ever seen a ranked payout or pay. What is it? Is it payload or is it payout?
Hey yo,
Payout search or destroy. Have you seen one yet? Have you seen anybody pop into a lobby yet?
nope.
So that'll go ahead and tell you, if you don't make it for ranked, it's not going to work. It's got to be ranked, and it's got to be a 100%, all in. It can't be a league play, because then you're going to have 12 people playing and the lobbies aren't going to fill. You're going to be filling up with bots, and then if you're not turned on or turned off by COD Mobile already at that point, you will be.
Yeah, and I see. What's his name? Someone said something. It was not physics. He said, "Yeah, the scene is 18 plus only." I feel like that's, if not, I think the biggest factor to killing this game, right? If you've seen games like, I'm pretty sure like you were around during that time, like Critical Ops, like 5 years ago, they allowed like kids like High, bro. High was like 12. My homie was graduating 5th grade and he was playing competitive. going to land.
My guy is still like 14, isn't he? What?
Yeah.
I is not 17 now, is he?
I don't know, but he's like 16, I think 15,
High was
16.
High is like, damn, he's been around for that long. He's gonna be a fucking true gamer by the time he's 18.
Exactly. So like, y- you
My
know,
God.
like that's what killed the game. Like banning iPads and banning underage, kids to compete. I think that's the major thing that killed the game. But obviously, by doing that, you brought a bunch of new names into the scene, right? Like some of these guys, like I've never seen in the comp scene before, and it's just like I feel like I don't know. I feel like everyone should be allowed to compete, in my opinion.
I think I think when you get to the point where you're in a title like Call of Duty and things get as serious as they have, as far as looking at the likes of orgs signing up, no self-respecting organization is going to hire non-adults, right? If you really look at it as like a you want these teams to come, you're signing a contract. You are literally signing for a job, and no team is going to sign someone that they legally cannot work the hours to stay at the top. Right? That's just the reality. That doesn't even begin to start touching on the legal loopholes that you have to jump through when you're considering, having a actual financial pay to minors. Um, it's a lot of responsibility for the organizations themselves. It's a lot of responsibility for Activision and companies like esports engines that actually put on the events. And I do think that that's something that most people don't consider. So I wouldn't expect any major overhauls to the age restriction. Maybe you see 17 plus. That's obviously something that Mobile Mayhem is doing. I'm gonna be honest. When we get to your champs and masters and stuff like that, it's probably gonna be 18 plus, just because again, Activision and esports engine slash um, any company that they may use in the future gonna want to just deal with travel um, for legal adults.
Yeah, you're right. No, I really never thought about it that way because, like, I'm really not into, I don't have much insight on that. But, I just feel like doing something that would just revive the game would be more of interest at the moment, because the game right now, it's like it's stale, you know? You don't see anyone saying, bro, let's hop on COD Mobile. That shit was like 2 years ago. you know like the game doesn't have much hype anymore. People that have like quit, like they're like, damn, but you still play COD Mobile, like it doesn't bring any hype anymore. But like, as you can see, Clash Royale, or like, Brawl Stars been around for like 5 years, and people, the comp scene is much more alive than this game. This game has the worst competitive scene I have seen in a long time. Like, I'd say Wild Rift has a better competitive scene than this game right now. So, I mean, I don't know.
Listen. I'm
That's
not
an
gonna.
interesting take.
I,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
interesting.
entirely gonna disagree with you. I can definitely see that in an aspect, and I think part of that is probably and verdict. I think you're right here with me on this because we've talked about this on the side before. So I definitely want you to add to it. But when that 18 plus rule came in, we saw mostly for NA, but also EU. We did see a lot of talent fall off of the competitive aspect of things. Um, NA, obviously, you had a couple teams that were largely minors. One of them was Arsenal Hammers back in the day. The likes of High, Main Mike, and them. In Verdict, I know you guys had some people over in EU also really struggle with the age restrictions. Spy, I think, being one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, then Spy hits of age, and first thing he does is he's in a Nova roster fragging out, and they're top of the leaderboard for EU at the moment. So I think every time, or everybody has their time. Obviously, we don't make the rule set, so we can't change that particular aspect of the game. We could try and influence on the back end, which your rule changes, your the players voting for the rules. I think that's a great thing, but I think respecting the age limit is a necessity here because, I mean, we ultimately can't bite the hands that feed us right now because we're fortunate enough to see the gameplay. We're fortunate enough to be able to cast tournaments for Activision or for Mobile Mayhem, who is sponsored by Activision or partner with Activision. So I don't think this is a rule change or a adjustment that they're going to be making anytime soon. So 18 plus is going to stick around, and trying to adapt and finding that timing is it's going to be key, and it's going to be difficult because some of the best talent are, like, Jingo just said, High, who was 9 at the time apparently, or still is freaking 12. I don't know. I don't know how old he is. High's young, dude. Bro is so cracked at the game though, but like talents like that, those are like once in a generation kind of things. If dude was popping off when he was 12 years old, I mean, I can't imagine what he's gonna do when he's actually gonna be able to compete.
I do want to just kind of, while we're on the age thing, I see the comment in chat that CoDM is literally an 18 plus rated game. It's actually 17 plus. If you go to the App Store, it does ask you your minimum age is 17. So I think that is probably one of the reasons Mobile Mayhem went to a 17 plus um, rule set for this year. And listen, I'm right there with you guys. I think that would expand the talent quite a bit looking forward to this year of champs. But yeah, it is 17 plus, not 18 plus for the game in general. I wonder if I can pull that up real quick actually. Um let's see, we're already at like the 35 or so minute mark. If we just want to start transitioning over to just maybe cover up
Yeah,
some of last week's matches, and then we'll talk a little bit about this coming up week.
yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's knock it out.
All right. All right. So for last week, I think we'll probably just stick to Thursday because that's what's mostly in everybody's mind. Um, we'll just hit on the score for Tuesdays real quick. So Tuesday we had 11T versus Yo Mama. Yo Mama won 2-0. This is for NA. Goofy Goobers versus Midnight Gaming. They won 2-0. Zygnus versus Shred It. That was actually an absolute banger. You guys should go back and watch that on Bobby's channel if you didn't see it. Zygnus won 2-1 over Shred It, and that was not a forfeited game. That was
No
a
Zay,
Shred
no
It
party.
actually won. Yeah, you can call it no Zy, no party you want, but that was actually a really good search and destroy. The domination, the hard point, not so much, but the search was pretty solid. And then we did have Explicit versus Rain, also take a 2-1. I think that one was as a result of a DQ by veteran, though,
It
if I
was.
remember correctly.
Yeah.
So that one was not as exciting as the 2-1 maybe sounds. And then looking at Thursday's matchups, it was Storm versus Zygnus, and I feel like Storm did put up a bit of a fight in the hard point, but I mean they got absolutely spanked in the search and destroy. I think it was a 6-0 verdict.
Yeah, it was a 6-0. It was demoralizing.
Yeah, were you able to catch any of the games last week, Jingo?
Um, I turned into like
That's
I
a
think it
no.
was
That was
no 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 no. Okay, actually yeah, I lied. That was me 6. I lied. Yeah, I
Well,
couldn't.
yeah, I mean, look, we totally get it. You're not as in the scene as you were. You've got stuff going on in real life. Look, we ain't gonna dog on you for that. We're hoping you get that all together so that we can see you return.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, Storm versus Ignis ended up being a 2-0. Midnight versus Seminole. No shock here. Seminole came through with a 2-0 victory. Just about, if not more, disrespectful than the Zygnus versus Storm matchup. Um, Shred It versus Revenge, I thought was going to have more potential because, again, these are kind of the two teams that I had mentioned struggle with talent to keep up with the upper half of Mobile Mayhem. Um, there's definitely potential in Shred It. As rude as this is going to be, and listen, Revenge, they joined in late. They literally finalized a roster like the day they were asked when Devious disband. So like I know this roster didn't have time to practice together. That could definitely be part of it. But Revenge could use some help. And then to round things off, we did have Explicit versus the Goofy Goobers. And I don't necessarily want to call this one an upset. Um, but I do got to say, I was not expecting Explicit to come through and rock through with a 2-0 victory over Goofy Goobers. And Jingo, I know that you'll be able to
Yeah,
hit on this one a bit because you've played with a majority of these players on both
yeah.
teams.
I watched that one. I actually watched that one. It was on Crossfire, right? Like it was
Yeah.
close. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Crossfire and then S&D. Was it standoff?
Actually, no, that was firing range. It's
Oh,
firing
firing
range.
range. Okay. The funny thing was, I told Band, I was like, "Bro, you're going against explicit." I was like, "Bro, easy 2-0 for you, my guy." He comes back and tells me, "Bro, we lost 0-2," and I was like, "Bro, what?" I was like, "Dude, you're lying." I checked the score. I went back to the stream, bro. I went on Dave's stream, and I was like, "Yo, no shot. You guys lost 0-2, bro." And I was like, I mean, I guess I'm a jinx. And the funny thing is, I think I am a jinx because yesterday I was like, "Bro, we got a 2-0 up against what do you call that, Seminole." Right? I was like, bro, close it out. You feel me? We can hop on Valorant. And then this guy, I
Also
was waiting for
45 last night.
exactly. I was like, bro, I'll give him like 10 more minutes, finish out that last game. And then homie never showed up. And then I watched the stream and I'm like, bro, why is it 2-2? And then I see them choking S&D standoff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. But yeah, Tectonic said Blair sold. I mean, a lot of people say Blair sold. Like, I mean, like he said some shit in chat, right? I'm pretty sure you guys saw that on Twitter.
It got copy pasted to Twitter.
Yeah,
Everybody saw it.
yeah. And I feel like I don't know. I think it's more of a confidence thing rather than a cockiness thing. You feel me? Like because in my opinion, Seminole is better than Goofy Groupers. Like at the moment, right? And that's just my opinion. And I'm like, dude, Imali, he's just trying to keep his mental up. Because who wouldn't try to like boost yourself, right? You're like, damn, you're up 2-0. You're gonna talk all the shit you want to get inside your opponent's head, right? And I think that's what he did, but apparently it backfired, and now he just looks stupid. But that's the homie Molly. That's the homie Molly in a nutshell.
Yep, a little bit savage, but true. And Tech coming through with the savage call out of planting A and then run to
I've
B.
never,
That was.
I've never scratched my head harder in my life. Like I
I
thought, like I don't understand.
I think that's not once but twice we saw that happen too. So
Yeah,
yeah, so Blur definitely sold a little bit.
here he goes.
Listen,
Here is self reporting right now. I don't want
yeah,
to talk about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Blur,
I can't
we
confirm, bro.
yeah, Blur, we love you, but you do some dumb shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's some
Yeah,
dumb shit,
yeah.
bro.
No, look, hear me out, hear me out. Molly can be. I played with this guy for like the past 7 months, bro. This guy can either be the smartest player you've ever seen and do the weirdest shit, but the smartest shit you've ever seen, or do the most complete dumb shit you've ever seen in your life, and then the whole VC is just sitting there quiet, like,
Yeah,
bro,
like
what
what
the
the
fuck
fuck was
happened?
that? Yeah, yeah.
Like, but I mean, that's just Molly, man. He's a coin toss.
You know what? One thing I do gotta say, and I gotta point out though, is you're comparing like a team who's literally played together for 2 years almost. I know Seminole isn't like a team that's been official for 2 years, but let's be real. How long have those guys really been playing together for? Like in reality, how long have they been ranking for? Have they been like putting together or playing together in scrims for? I mean, if it's off season, how long have they literally been playing for versus a team that is a true roster mania roster, right?
Yeah,
That came out and survived and is on top of the NA scene right now.
I mean, yeah, like I think they were like friends since like the very beginning. All of
Yeah.
them were just playing
So so
together,
you're
and yeah.
so you're telling me that a team that just formed, kind of molded outside of champs, is taking games to a 5 game spread across a best of 5, and sometimes they win them, sometimes they lose them, and they're putting up numbers like that. I mean, I don't know if that's Seminole being absolutely great, or if it's Goofy Goobers showing up and showing that they can do something that Seminole is doing, but with literally a tenth of the time put in. Is that a wrong assessment, or is that a fair one?
No, I think that's fair. That's fair.
I do
Yeah.
want to take a comment from chat real quick, just
Okay.
because. Listen, this goes back to, um, Game Battles absolutely sold the fuck out of AR, okay? You want
Yeah.
to talk about your competitive scene not looking good? If you're going to hold a stage 3 following your Masters event and then not actually seed teams appropriately based on their performance in Masters, you're going to get that to happen again. You're going to have a repeat of AR, Tribe, and NYSL being in the same elimination bracket leading up to a stage 4 again. That's just
Yeah.
absolutely the fact.
I thought
Um,
everybody likes lotteries, though, right?
listen. You want to talk shit about game battles? I'm here for it. Okay.
There we go.
We literally dogged AR out and had Destiny official gaming make it to stage 4 and then not fucking play. You know, so game
Oh my
battles
god.
game battles can fucking blow me, okay? That is
There we go.
the reality here.
Wow.
So
Hey,
Love
so
the energy.
yeah, that was the biggest sell of the CODM scene in all of 2021, in my opinion, and I do not want to see that repeated ever. Period. So
yeah,
Point.
definitely like that was the dumbest shit I've
it
seen in a
was.
while.
Tell
Yeah,
me you don't value your competitive scene without telling me you don't value your competitive scene, right, Verge?
yeah. In my opinion, like no cocky shit. Like I'm just being real. I'm like, damn, we were like at least I'd say one of the top four teams, in there. I'm like, you let Destiny Gaming go in, and then a team that just formed. I forgot what team it was. Was it
Revenge.
Revenge? Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was Revenge. I'm like, bro, Revenge. No, no hate to any of them because they're all my homies, right? But I'm like, damn, Revenge got the luckiest bracket of their lives, while we got the worst bracket of our lives. Revenge literally rode off the back of I think two DQs and made it all the way to like fourth place, right? Is that what happened?
I
And
think
then they
so.
played Tribe or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or Explicit, one of them. But I'm just like, damn, that's actually crazy. Like, and to be honest, I can't blame anyone but myself because I think I was a contributing factor to the downfall of my team during Game 3 because I was just getting heated. I was like, my team, we were up 2-0. We beat NYSL, one of the best S&D teams in the game at that time, right? And we were up 2-0. We won hardpoint and we won search and destroy. So we were going to game 3. I was like, dude, we're going to win this. 3-0, NYSL gone from the comp scene. Like, no NYSL and champs this year. And then comes in, comes in, I don't know, the inner demons. And all of a sudden, we were up 75-39 on Hackney Yard. We had the good side and I blink once and we flip spawns and everything goes downhill after that. You do not want to hear the comms during that game. I tell you,
I'd
after
love to
that
hear the
Hackney game,
comps for that game.
no, bro. After that Hackney game, I was just in complete shock. I was sitting there, I didn't know what to say. Usually I'm the guy that starts yelling at the team. I'm like, yo, bro, what the fuck happened? We had good side, we're up 75-39. We have the better mental. What the fuck is going on? The team
In
just fall
short
apart
hard
after that.
point, in 150 hard point,
Yes,
or
it's
or
short hard point.
or
Yes.
Dom.
Oh, down, yeah,
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
down, down. Like I was mind blown. And then that's not even the bad part. I was like, okay, they have one good game. Hackney Yard is a coin toss. You feel me? One person spawn now. Okay, you might win that game. Then we go on to firing range, a map that AR has dominantly and multiple times we've beat NYSO on during scrims in that map. Like I think we blew them out one time. It was like 150 to like 14. Like I remember going into Awaken's DM. I was like, because I know this guy's the weakest mental on NYSL, right? I went into his DMs. I'm like, now I know why you guys ban firing range when you guys go against us. But then this time they didn't ban firing range, and I was like, okay, bro, this is just a fold. Zim's folding. Like, what is he doing? You're playing against our best map right now on hardpoint. We get into that game, and all of a sudden, Tech, I just remember, bro, this guy Tech single-handedly won them that map. Tech got into tower and spawned us down the whole map. Like, I was just mad. I was like, bro, where is our map control? Like, I remember me and Molly, we used to argue every single day, every single game. And I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? This is firing range. We beat them by like a landslide of like 110 points. And then all of a sudden, this guy Tech is shitting on us with like, I don't know what gun he was using in tower. And I was just like, okay, you know what? Like, after that game, I already knew we lost because my team, when we get into that state, we can't get out. Our mental is not like that. We don't have a coach like Zim to keep us in shape. Our coach was like, we didn't even have a coach at that time. Matter of fact, it was just like all of us, like a group of homies, just trying to, win something. And we got into Search and Destroy Crossfire. I already knew we lost because number one, they're good at S&D, and number two, I've never played S&D Crossfire in my life. And the last time I played that shit, you guys probably seen, I dropped a donut or one kill. I think Day was like, Day said something about that, right? Day, you said I was on explicit at that time. You said, hey, we'll excuse Jingo for dropping a breadstick this game or some shit. I just
Probably.
remember that. Yeah, Crossfire is not my map. And then on top of that, we subbed in Saxy. We took out Clay because Clay sold like, the third game. So we brought in Saxy, and Saxy's trying to do some rank shit, and he was running around with the bat, trying to bat Nero and Tectonic. I was like, bro, like, dude, you're selling the potential of us winning stage 5, and you're just trolling in S&D. So, I mean, that's what happens, man. So after that, our roster went emo. I think like one of them quit the game. What was his name? Automatic. What was his name? Wolver. Wolver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
Wolver.
if you
Yeah.
remember them. Yeah, he just like ghosted from the scene. He was like, "Yep, I'm out, man. I spent a whole year for this shit, and then
Wait, you're telling
boom."
me someone retired and then they
Yes,
never
yes,
came back?
on the spot, dead ass, on the
Those are
spot.
BS.
Bro, a legend, the one and only.
No, like I'm dead ass, bro. Like I told them, I was like, bro, come, bro, it's just a game. You guys are thinking about it too much. You got a whole year left, and then, this guy was like, yeah, man, I wasted my time here, man. Like I felt like, he was gonna, fucking goes from everyone and never talk with anyone again. But apparently, he just deleted Discord and stayed on Twitter. So, I reached out to him. I was like, bro, you good? Because like he sounded like actually sad. Like the homie was like actually depressed. So, um, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be depressed after getting reverse
Oh
swept
yeah,
by
yeah.
NYSL? Like, I'm like, bro, I shot every single one of their bodies, bro. I definitely Little B. I shot Little B's body. I just played a whole mag. We were up, like on, like I don't know, man. I was just in my zone at that time, and I was like, damn, I'm in their head, and we ended up losing, and I just looked dumb as fuck. Because at that time, I was like the captain of AR, and everyone was just like, man, what the fuck happened? Like I got a bunch of DMs. I was like, dude, you guys like are reverse swept. There's a tweet by Nero on Twitter. Yo, I was in complete shock. I had no words. It was all my
Shambles.
fault. Yeah,
Oh, dude,
I
it
just took
happens.
it. I just took it.
All right,
Like a man. There you go.
we are in the last couple minutes here. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give this week's matchups for Europe. We're gonna give that over to Verdict to tell you guys what the best matchups to look out for. And then we're going to do the same thing real quick, very, very briefly. We're just going to run through the NA, and we'll give those over to Jingo to let you guys know what to be on the lookout for. So, Verdict for Tuesday, February 1st, which will be tomorrow on your channel, we'll have Nova versus Illuminati, Anarchy versus Elysium, 117 Not Found versus Aphelion, and Olympus versus Omniscient. And, what are the matchups there, and maybe a short why to be on the lookout for.
All right, so I'm looking at it now and I'm like, you know what? Did we just look at this but from the results page earlier and it comes to find out that this is actually the roster and maybe Ronan didn't sell. Maybe he was trying to get ahead of the game and that's why the results page are the way it is right now. So, you guys don't know what we're talking about. Dave knows what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
the match that I'm really looking forward to here is got to be the Nova and Illuminati. Why? Because Illuminati's on the come up and Nova are looking strong. So Illuminati definitely going to be sealing an opportunity for them to be claiming that like giant killer role. But then that matchup is where we're going to start things off with, and I think the most action we're going to see today is going to be in that match for Olympus and Omniscient. Olympus was an invited team. Omniscient was a qualifiers champion, but Omniscient has been anything but a champion since then. So definitely going to be. I know we keep talking. Is Omniscient going to show up or not? But I think that this is where they turn things around, and maybe I'm just down bad and thinking that. I hope they turn things around, but that's going to be where it starts right there.
All right, and for Thursday, I feel like I know your answer on this one already, but we'll go ahead and bowl through it. Thursday,
Oh,
February 3rd on Verdict's channel, we've got Nova versus Elysium, FN 420 versus Animus, Aphelion versus Illuminati, and Omniscient versus Anarchy.
all right. So there's going to be two banger matchups right here. Obviously, FN 420 and Animus going to be who's going to take the top roles right now. Nova have the lead, and I don't see that like changing anytime soon. but they're still fighting for that second. There's teams that are still fighting for that second place spot. If in 420 can toss their name in that category, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Animus is going to show up and put a SmackDown down. But I think that one will probably be the best matchup of the day. The highlight match of the day is definitely going to be the Omniscient and Anarchy again, just because Anarchy beat Animus, and they have been anything but perfect since. So that's going to be an opportunity for them to kind of square off another Omniscient team who, again, I don't know if they're down bad or if they just had a down, beginning of the season. So definitely guaranteed two great matchups out of both of those days.
Yeah, those are pretty much the same answers I would have given, so we're pretty in sync with that one. And real quick, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing for NA, and Jingo will let you take this segment. So tomorrow, the matches will be on Bobby's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, guys. The first match is going to be Yo Mama versus Midnight Gaming, 11T versus Shreddit, Seminole versus Explicit, and then Revenge versus Storm. What would be your one or two matches to look for there, Jingo?
I think, hear me out. I think Revenge versus Storm, I would be interested in watching just because they're both new teams. They're both teams on the upcoming, and I want to see like what they got in store. Are they gonna put up a good game, or are they just gonna, do dumb shit and one team's gonna win? I want to see some top tier gameplay in between both of them because I mean, to be honest, every other top team, it's kind of boring watching because like you already know what team is gonna win based on who they're going against, right? You already know you have the like it's like basically saying I don't know, like you get what I'm saying.
No, I get
Like,
what you're saying.
yeah,
I think the highlight match is definitely going to be that Revenge and Rain or Revenge and Storm. But we already know that the Explicit and Seminole matchup definitely going to be a great way to end the night.
yeah. Like, so yeah, it's just those games you really are just watching to just see it end rather than to see who wins, because you already know who's gonna win just by looking at who they're going up against. But then, I mean, look, an upset can happen, but most of the time it goes how we expect it to go. So
Hear
not
me out
surprised.
here. Goofy Goobers beat Seminole, and then
Exactly.
Explicit beat Goofy Goobers.
It wasn't even. It was a 2-0. It wasn't
Yeah.
a 2-1 or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, you got a point there, but I mean,
Jingo
like,
has
look,
no faith.
Well,
I'm
let's be
just like,
we've been in this position before. Like in it always happens like this. Like one team beats another, the other one loses, the other one beats the other team that beats it's a clusterfuck until we get to the very end of the season. Playoffs really, dictate how continues on. But in the regular season, it's a no holds bar. Anybody can win. Anybody can lose at any given point, though.
yeah, true. And look at what the boy Marshy is saying right now. You know, he's confident. The whole Seminole roster. You got the homie Vega over there. It's just like, yeah, you got two stacked rosters, Seminole and Goofy Goobers, and when they go against each other, that's basically like the Tribe versus Zygnus of last, before champs. Because after champs, I haven't heard of Zygnus ever since. I'm not gonna lie, it's been Goofy Goobers versus Seminole the whole time, and they always
Hey,
put
don't
up a
forget
show.
about your
Yeah.
mama, man. Your mama been putting on some
Yeah.
Yo,
hella
mama,
shows
nah,
lately.
Zim's a troll. Zim's a troll.
I don't
Zim's a
know. Your
troll.
mama looking pretty hot right now.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to them, but I
Yo Mama
think,
also beat
yeah,
Seminole. Now,
just
Man,
granted that it
look,
was on the
look.
back of a miracle.
hey, no shot,
Yeah,
no shot.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
she gets plowed regularly, but your mama is certainly a team you can't doubt.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. The Seminole versus Yo Mama matchup was about to be a 2-0. Marshy
Bruh.
sold the living fuck out of Seminole, and then Yo Mama won the domination. So, um, listen, Marshy, I'm kidding. His phone bugged out. It disconnected him from the game. The rules are the rules, and
Let's
it
be
was
real.
a.
Zim sent him $50 cash app, and he just turned the other way.
And
All
Marshy
right,
was like, "Got it. I'm out. Let's
the
go."
freak. I'm kidding. No, $50 to a stage 5 champion. Yeah, that's not happening, right?
No,
yeah.
not a chance.
Marcy wouldn't sell for that, man. Marcy's
Marshy's not that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's not
Marshy, we
that
know
guy.
that. We like picking at you, Marshy, though.
All right, we'll blow through Thursday's game list real quick, and then we'll get out of here. It's
Yeah.
we're coming up a couple minutes on an hour right now. So, Our Thursday matchups, which will be here on my channel, guys, is going to be Goofy Goobers versus Zygnus, Shred It versus Yo Mama, Explicit versus Midnight, and Storm versus 11T. So, Jingo, give me a number one matchup there, or even a top two.
You said wait, what did you say for the last 2 games you cut out?
Explicit versus Midnight and Storm versus 11T.
Storm versus 11T. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't heard of 11T in a while, so like I don't know how they're doing, but I've heard they picked up some new players, right?
Well,
Was
they also
it?
lost Zai too. So.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
lost
they lost
Zai.
Zai. I mean, Zai was their star player. I can't hold you.
Hey, I'm
True,
right there with you, dude.
true.
Me and Verdict, you know, we're right on there with the no Zai, no party train. So
Yep, no Zai, no party, but Storm versus uh man, I don't know. That's hard to say. I don't really have much insight on that right now.
I think the Goofy Goobers and Zygnus is probably going to be the only highlight matchup of the night. The Shredded and Yo Mama is probably going to be lopsided. I don't know. It just depends on what side of Yo Mama we see.
I don't know. Yo Mama's
Nah,
gonna have
Shredded's winning, bro. Shredded's winning.
no shot. Yo Mama's gonna have her way with Shred It 100%.
What you mean? You got Coach Fuss, the best coach in the game.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Yeah. All right.
No comment. No game.
Here we are. All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. Thank you everybody for coming by. Make sure you guys come back next Monday. We'll have another episode. Tweet me on Twitter who you want next week's guest to be, and I'll try to get that set up a little bit earlier for you guys, and maybe get some good fielded questions. I know today was kind of last minute. It's been a little difficult for me managing the schedule with also working full time now. But I am doing my best over here. So thank you everybody for coming by. Of course, a huge shout out to Verdict who comes by and not only casts with me multiple times a week, but obviously comes by every week and does the spawn with me. And then just giant shout out to Jingo. Jingo's the homie. Jingo's one of my absolutely favorite CoDM pros. So can't wait to see you back in the scene, man. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. Well, I'll catch y'all later then.
All right.
Homie.
See you guys
All right.
and have a good night, chat. We'll get you a raid rolling.